Welcome back to Under One Roof, where culture, identity, and conversation meet in real time. Today's guest is someone I deeply respect, y'all. He's a husband, a father of four, and a straight black pastor. And he's also someone who holds space for conversations that aren't always easy, especially in faith circles, right? We're talking about intersection of church, masculinity, queerness, and love. What it means to build bridges we weren't always taught to cross. This is the living room sermon you didn't know you needed. So please welcome Pastor Benjamin Jones.
All right, Stefan, it's about time, man. I'm glad to be here.
Thank
Looking
you
forward
for
to this conversation that we're
me
about to
too.
have here.
Me too. I had this one was so important to me because, and mind you, I was just telling you how far in advance I had to reach out to you because this is like the first one that I thought of having my first guest on outside of my roommate Chris, and I was like, I have to make sure Ben's available because the way that we've already kind of explored life in the short time that we've known each other, like 3 years, it's something that people need to see, and especially the conversations we have. It's gonna be great. We talk about things like he's like my homeboy, and he adds spirituality to it, and that's just something that you just don't get every day.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, definitely.
I gave you a whole introduction.
I'm here for it, man.
Now I feel like I want the folks to hear it from you. So
Sure.
tell us like who Benjamin Jones is, where you from, all
Yeah.
the things.
Yeah, so originally from Southern California, grew up in a few different areas. I think one of the things that's probably relevant to our discussion today is the fact that I did not grow up in church. So even though today people look at me, I'm a pastor, they see the position, they see the title, they may not understand, and this maybe goes to your first question, that I came up in a very non-religious background. So I
A lot
am
of people would assume that.
absolutely, and that's probably the story for a lot of people that you do meet that are in church today. But for me, it was not that at all. Sunday mornings, or for watching football during the fall, or sleeping in. That was pretty much all that I did on Sunday morning. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, and you were raised primarily by your
by my mother, my mother who is white, my father's black.
Come on,
And
biracial.
So, yeah, there we go. So best of both worlds is the way I like to think about it.
This space is for our culture people, but he get it passed because that's 50% in there. We can have that in here. I'm just playing. I love my Caucasian friends. I love y'all.
There we go. So I'm raised by my white mother. So not raised in church, not raised in the black community either. And so a lot of my experience growing up was from that lens and that angle. So it wasn't until I got to college that I had a pretty dramatic experience with God that really transformed the way that I saw my life. God, church, religion, all those things just kind of flipped all in one moment. So from that point forward, my life took a whole new direction. Ended up leading me to meeting my wife, and then we got married and we had the kids, and then all of a sudden kind of found myself back into this space where I started a church about a year and a half ago.
Period.
And now I'm pastoring. Yeah, Reflection Church.
Say it
That's
loud
right.
and proud.
Reflection Church. Here we go.
You're building it from the ground up.
Absolutely. So we're
Reflection
excited.
Church is great.
Yeah. Come check us out, 11 a.m. Sunday morning.
Come on, plug.
I got to make a plug,
I
man.
can't even say shameless because I don't want the thunder to come down on me. Lord, like I gave you breath. You better throw it in there. No. For Reflection is a beautiful, beautiful church. It is a space that I got introduced to in the very, very, very beginning before even had.
Yeah. It was still in the womb. It was still in the womb. Yeah.
When we met,
yeah.
and I'm happy to see where it's at today, and I need to take my behind to
Hey,
to
anytime, man.
I call you my instead of saying my pastor Ben, I'd be like my friend. No, instead of saying you're my pastor, I usually tell people, he's my spiritual advisor. Because when we met and we could talk about that, you didn't give me pastor or
pastor vibes,
whatever that is, right? Because what is that? But there is something that when you hear a pastor that makes you think differently than someone that's just like, oh, that's my homeboy.
Yeah.
Like whoever would say that's my homeboy to your pastor.
Right.
I mean, about a pastor.
Right.
So I think that's why you particularly was someone I was like, I have to have him on this show. Like I have to, because it's going to be something that people are going to really have a different eye on after this.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I think for me, part of that is, first of all, it's a compliment to hear that in some respects, because I definitely try to model myself in my life after the person that I follow, who's Jesus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I see so much in the stories that are written about him is that people felt comfortable going up to him. He didn't give off this vibe of "I'm too good for you." Some of the people that were outcasts in society at the time when he was alive, actually on the earth, he would spend time with them, and kids were running up to him, right, interrupting him in the middle of his sermon. So there was some kind of vibe he was given that was like, "You are welcome to come up to me. I'll meet you where you are." All of that was coming off. So I just feel like that's really the essence of what I'm trying to emulate, right? And so I want to give that same vibe to people. Because I want them to see how good he is ultimately.
Yeah. So we met when I was working for PCC, and this is gonna be a really interesting story, y'all, because I don't even know if I even told you this from a perspective from my lens, right? So to be honest with you, I was working with a program called the Association of Black Employees. We were tabling at the time on the yard at the college, and I saw you sitting by yourself on a lawn, you know what I'm saying, in your book, looking fine. And I was like, from my perspective, I was like, that is a good looking man sitting over there by himself. We have one donut to give out to somebody, and that donut is going to be him.
Right.
And so I went over to you, and
Yeah.
I was just like, yo, I was like, my name is Stefan, like, you know, what's your name? And then we just started chatting.
Right.
And then the 3-strike rule came in when you approach from my 3-strike
Okay,
rule.
okay, yeah, this is new for me. I haven't heard this part. Go ahead.
When I approach someone that looks great, that looks attractive, and my response to trying to get to know you in that way is trying to figure out what your background is. So you said, I'm married, I got kids, I'm a pastor.
1, 2, 3.
Whoop! I was like, yep, that's definitely not going to work here. So instead of turning away, what it was the way that God wanted me to meet you, because we ended up being friends to this day.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
and so hearing that, I don't know what
Yeah.
your perspective was from
Yeah.
that. Was any of that prevalent?
So what's interesting for me, my lens on that moment when we met was I actually was on the campus, and part of it was because I just felt like God wanted us to connect with some people there. I didn't know exactly why or how, and I didn't really know anybody on the campus at that point. So I just went out there just like, okay, God, you got me out here.
That's crazy.
In addition to that, I was fasting that day. And so I walk up on campus, and that's sometimes I do that, right? If I'm believing for something, asking God and praying, I'll fast in addition to that. And so I'm out there, and I'm like, Lord, what am I doing here? Like, I don't know who to talk to. I don't know what to say to them. And then all of a sudden, shortly after I had this conversation, this little prayer that I had, you came up to me.
No.
And then you offered me the donut, and I said, Lord, I'll break my fast for this right here, because this brother coming up to me, this is the entryway into this campus. And so, all right, Lord, I guess I'm breaking my fast with this donut. Yes, I'll take that.
Wow.
So that's what's going on the other end on my end.
That was what was going on? What the hell? Isn't that crazy? Y'all.
But I had specifically prayed to meet somebody on the campus.
Wow.
And I didn't know who was going to be, and if it was going to be a student, a staff. I had no idea. But then that's when you came up.
That's what happened.
And so I was like, okay, this is a divine moment.
Oh, divine is the word for sure.
Yeah.
And so now, and at that point in my life, this was like 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
It had to be like 3 years. I can't believe that's flying by like that. But when I think about that moment, I think about where I was and where I have been with my faith and belief in religion, and then my belief in church, because it's two different things. So, and at that age, that was 2021 maybe. So I was 31, excuse me. I was 31, and I was like, this is the part of my life where I know that I need to grow and have a better connection with God. I just need an accountability partner to do so, because I know that I wasn't going to get at the church. And at the time, churches for me were like Baptist church, believed in one thing, believed in, no same-sex, same-sex interactions, all that stuff. It was like totally forbidden. And so it kind of made me feel like I was in a place where people were going to be judging me. It just didn't feel welcoming to me at all. So that my age was 34, and I'm connecting that to ask you, what age were you when you started to know that, or that journey was coming to an end of not having a relationship or solid relationship with Christ like you have now?
Yeah. Yeah, so for me, like I mentioned before, the college was the moment. That was the turning point.
Well, how old were you?
That was 20.
Oh,
I had just turned 20.
oh, see, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
20 is a early age,
It was.
especially
It
for a
was.
man. That
It was.
and we know if you look good here, that the 10, 20 years
Just knock
ago.
20 years off. Yeah. Yeah.
So what was
Exactly.
that life like before that? Because you for sure wasn't given like like you said, you made that switch from that to 20.
Yeah.
So there was football games, there were ladies, there was like,
Yeah.
what was that life? Take us back there just briefly,
Sure.
like what that was like.
Yeah, so before that, I mean, on the outside, you would see somebody who was still like devoted and dedicated to studies and academics. I had a girlfriend, and as much as I could, I tried to be faithful, right? So, but I was always
Key word is as much as
I can. Now, the reason I say that is because faithfulness has levels. There's layers to faithfulness,
enlighten
right?
us.
Right. It's not just about what you do physically, but it's also emotional faithfulness. Right. There's also things that you can do
I thought you were gonna see it spiritual.
to make. Yeah, that too.
Is
But
that
I didn't know
too?
anything about that at the
that
time.
point, right,
At that point,
okay,
that was a
okay,
moot point.
Okay.
So,
Levels of faithfulness.
but I was always in a relationship with a girl pretty much from 6th grade all the way through college.
Wow.
So and I got broken up with most of the time.
What is that?
Yeah, that's a long time.
That's because I'm not counting grades.
I mean,
That's
not constantly,
okay. I'm
but
getting like,
but
what
there
that
was
body count looking like.
there was no. There was a 6th grade, there was a 7th grade, there was
Okay.
a
Okay, got
a
it,
girl
got
in
it, got
9th
it, got it,
grade,
got it.
10th grade,
I'm
a
thinking-
couple in 11th, like
Okay.
that kind of thing.
I got you.
But I was looking for that validation through relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was in this relationship with a girl at the time, and at the same time, I'm going to parties, going to frat parties. That's kind of becoming a thing. I had kind of prided myself. It's interesting because not growing up in a religious household, there were a couple things that I still had boundaries about, and one was drinking and smoking. Like I didn't want to do either one of those.
Okay, you already was like
Through
that's
high
not-
school.
Yeah,
I was focused on sports, and so I felt like that stuff's not going to help my body.
but you were surrounded by it because of what comes with sports is normally other teammates that do practice.
Yeah,
that.
they did. Yeah, but I
Okay.
knew like I was trying to do something better than them. So
Like, that's positive. I love
yeah.
that. Mm-hmm.
And the other thing was I was actually trying to save myself till marriage. Now, ask me why I was thinking that was the way to do it. I don't know. Now, but by the time I got to college, I kind of let that one go. I was like, I could justify this as long as I'm in a committed relationship.
First of all, it's healthy to let loose. Okay, it's a biology to it. Okay, Lord, that whatever you have to make it make sense, you made it make sense.
Yeah, but see, I'm not even doing the whole Lord thing. Like that ain't even that's not my
you
vocabulary.
still at that point was
At
like,
that
had
point,
nothing to do
no,
with it.
nothing.
Wow. Okay.
Not even a little bit. Not
Okay,
even a
okay.
hint. So see the whole like religious guilt thing. Like I feel like I'm not supposed to be doing this. God don't want me. I didn't have any of that, bro.
Wow. But that's because you didn't have the church influence, and that's how we grew up a little differently. 'Cause
Exactly.
I was flipped.
You were flipped. Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
no pun intended. I had. We gonna play. Okay, let me stop.
Yeah, go
There's
ahead,
a
go
game
ahead.
that we gonna play later. But
Okay,
that's funny.
okay.
Where
Yeah,
is
so- Is that the game? Okay, go ahead. Okay.
y'all? He fit in right on this couch. Okay. So the difference is that I did grow up as a Baptist
Right.
kid,
Right.
going to church faithfully. So I did have the fear based on the way that we were raised and
Right.
during youth Sundays and from my grandmother
Yeah.
and all these things.
You better be acting right.
You got to be acting right. And then we use that Bible to get it to you too. And a switch and other things. But, that is so interesting. So my fear was that.
Yeah.
Yet, I somehow did not let that keep me there.
Right.
It's like...
You just threw that off.
I
Yeah.
just threw that off.
Yeah.
I just go just like you did.
I-
Okay,
Just like
You
me.
did.
Just like me. I got there
no
too.
way.
We got there different ways, but we both got there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yours is through a body, and I don't know what one was through. I gotta figure out what it was. But
Yeah.
okay, so
Yeah.
I wanted to make that comparison because it's very interesting that you never had the experiences. Then
Right.
you got
So then I got this experience where basically I met a guy and he started to talk to me about God, Jesus. We start reading the Bible together, but he wasn't a square, right? Like that was the thing that I typically saw within the church was, man, all these Christians, they seem like people I would never want to hang out with. Like they're lame. They don't dress very cool, like all this kind of stuff. I had all these images. This guy was actually, he played football and so he was cool. He was fun to be around. And so he was starting to kind of change my image of what it might look like to be a Christian. But I still wasn't interested until we kind of continued to go through some stuff. And then, long story short, I just had a moment where I realized, oh, God is real. And so that was kind of the turning point for me, where I realized, okay, if God is real, which I didn't know before, then I had to make a decision about that. Am I going to actually try to pursue him and live a life that he's called me to, or am I going to reject him and say, no, I'm going to do my own thing? So that was kind of a clear moment in the sand for me, and I just decided I felt like it was too compelling. I felt like what I had experienced with God was like, this is good enough for me to follow and figure out where he's going to lead me to. I don't know what that means right now, but I'm just going to trust him. And so that's what happened in that moment. And so the relationship I was in started to crumble. Now I started feeling guilty.
Oh.
For the first time.
Because of this mentor that came into your life. And
not because of him. Well, yeah. Because I have this connection now with God, and I'm feeling like, wait a second, I don't know if I should be doing some of this stuff now.
How far or how long did it take for you to get there while still being in that relationship?
So basically that moment happened in November, and by February we were broken up. But I think probably by December, January, like within a month or two, I started feeling like,
wow.
Like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel the same anymore.
And it wasn't a lot, because it's not like you just turned around and started reading the Bible every day and every night. And
actually, I was. Well, I wasn't memorizing, but I did start reading. Reading. Like, I was fascinated by it. All of a sudden, it started to come alive, and I was reading it. And I wasn't a reader before this, by the way. I didn't like reading books.
That's why I was like, what was it? Because it wasn't a Bible, but it was a Bible.
It was.
That's what influenced you to read.
Yeah, so I was reading it, and then I started seeing like some of the lines from my favorite rappers. I was like, oh, they got that from here. Like, I had no clue how influential this book had been on culture.
Wow.
And so I'm making all these connections, and I'm like learning these stories for the first time. Like, you grew up learning these stories.
Right.
I didn't learn them.
Wow.
So I'm learning it for the first time, brand new lens. I'm like fascinated by these Old Testament stories, by Jesus and some of the stuff he's doing. And so all of it's like getting in me. And now it's starting to transform some of the things inside of me as well.
Wow.
So that's where I just started to talk to my girlfriend at the time, and I tried to bring her along. I was like, hey, can you come? Don't you come to church? Come to Bible study. I was doing all that.
I remember this story.
And she wasn't really feeling it.
Yes.
And so at a certain point, it just kind of came to a head where I was like, man, I feel like either I got to keep pursuing God like I'm doing, or you got to go.
Wow. That's some real like life stuff right there, because I was gonna say real life shit, but
hey man, you can talk like that around me. That's cool. That's the thing.
Why am I doing that on camera? I don't be doing that off camera. I think let me shake that off, whatever that was. I really love how you just opened up about that, because that's a serious topic of how to choose God and fit in the relationship, not fitting God into your relationship. And I think that's the decision that a lot of people have to decide to make, because it's really hard. You equally love both in a way that is different, but it feels like you need. And then you just have to make the ultimate decision. And so I know that was a struggle. It sounds like it was a huge struggle.
It was. Up to that point, that was probably the hardest decision I ever had to make.
Wow. Okay.
But he did make it easier.
Yeah.
Because I got to a point where I prayed and I said, God, if I'm not supposed to be in this relationship, I'm going to need you to help me out of it.
And this was what age?
At this point, I'm 20 years old.
Still 20 around here.
20, yeah.
That is really early. For me, I'm like thinking to myself, like, if I guess what I mean by early is that because that age is normally so heightened with like the highest testosterone in us as men, and the type of needs that we have, the influences that young, like you barely could drink at this point, but you weren't doing that. You know, there was.
I was drinking by that point.
Okay. Yeah. So college
kind of started to
I
started to change.
We don't know whether we
started flipping the script a little bit
on the back, or we want to slap them across the face. You know, which one college? Do you want to hug you or choke you? I feel like both of those things, you need those balances to show you. You know what they say is like, you know, you don't know good without evil. It's an interesting saying.
Yeah.
And so those are those balances that you had at that age, and I just commend you for being dedicated since then. And then you got introduced by way of the faith and religion of it, not the church, right? Right. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So what's interesting for me at that point too, I knew church was a thing, but I didn't really know how much of a thing it was, right? So for me, that whole experience was all about I have a relationship with God.
Okay.
That was
You
kind
are
of it.
so lucky. My
I was like,
God.
so much so to the point that the guy who introduced me, and once he realized I had really made a commitment to follow Jesus and turn my life to him, he's like, okay, now we can invite you to church. He hadn't invited me to church before that. So yeah, I know, which is interesting, right? Usually that's the first thing people do, invite you to church.
What was the denomination?
It
Do
was
you
a
remember?
non-denominational.
Oh, it was non-denomination. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So then I was like, oh, okay, church. And so I'm looking down the street and I'm like, well, there's a church down the street right here. He's like, no. He's like, that's not how we choose a church. Like, God places you among a certain kind of people. Like, you want to be in the right place, not just any place.
Yes.
I kind of equate it to a barber.
Keep saying it again to the camera. You want to what?
You want to be in the right place, not just any place.
You look at the camera.
You want to be in the right place, not just any place.
That's gonna be a clip.
There we go.
Okay, go ahead.
So here's my thing about churches. It's kind of like, to me, it's like a barber. So you would never walk into a random barbershop, would you, to get a haircut?
If I'm
A
new
random-
in the did I just move into the state? Or to
Even
the
then,
city?
at the very least, would you try at least to look for a referral,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That's the highest. That's
For sure.
your
For
primary
sure.
option of
For
finding a
sure.
barber. I
Yep.
need a referral.
I need a referral. For
I
sure.
need to know somebody who's been to that barber,
Yep.
who's had a good
Been there,
experience,
some.
and can say
I'm
something
not about to
highly
just walk
about.
in. You right.
I'm not just walking into
I'm
some
glad you
random
clarified
barbershop,
that.
right?
Yep.
Right? Like, oh, there's a barbershop. No, I don't know. I
Nope.
don't know that person.
Nope. Nope. And if they using scissors in the window and they white, I'm really walking past because I do not have that hair.
Right. They might not know.
They might know what to do.
And I've had some bad haircuts.
Oh,
I told
Lord.
I told you, being raised by a white mother, God bless my mom, but did not understand. You know, I didn't experience a black barber until I got to high school. So that's a lot of haircuts. Fantastic Sam's was one of my primary places of getting my haircut
God.
when I was growing up. So
Fantastic Sam's is the whitest barbershop I have ever heard. That's a real barbershop?
That's a chain.
Fantastic Sam's.
Like Supercuts. Like neck
wow.
and neck.
So y'all, we looking at a
Pause.
10-year difference.
He said, wait. I'm gonna get
People
some
gotta
tea.
know this. This is what 40 is. 39. Almost.
Oh
40.
yeah, no, I'm over 40.
Oh yeah, he's over 40.
41,
So
41.
this is what 41 is right now, y'all. And just a real quick clip on this. Whoever raised us to look at age as a thing to be afraid of getting at needs to be thrown into a whole trash can, because I look at Ben, I look at my mom, I look at so many other people now at the age that they're at, and I'm just like, why did they make us feel like it's a scary place to be, or like aging there? You look great. My mom looks great.
Thank
so
you.
I just need to just throw that out there that ageism is a real thing. Don't let people play you. Because I'm looking forward to it, especially if there's good mentors and examples to know that they do exist. So I just need to say that, because knowing what you're doing and what you were doing at the age that a lot of people don't do it at, which is, committing yourself to Christ at 20 and then staying dedicated to it. I'm sure it wasn't perfect, but staying dedicated to it to this day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, even, and then I'd love to know, like, continuing on.
Yeah.
What your first interaction was with the church.
Yeah. Yeah.
And picking up from there.
So tying that analogy together.
Yes.
So just like a barber shop, you wouldn't walk into. I would say church. You should also have a reference for somebody that can refer you, somebody that can vouch for the group of people, somebody you've connected with relationally. Because I think that's ultimately what church is about. It's about relationships with the people, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not just the building. It's not just like the programs, the service. It's about the people that are in that building and space.
Yes, it is.
And so if you're going to get connected there, you should relate or have some kind of connection to the people that are there, whether it's direct or indirect. So that's my whole plug about church. So by the time I started going to church, it was really just learning more about these other people. And I was at a church that had a lot of young people, a lot of college students that were also kind of experiencing the same thing I was. So that became normal to me. There was some diversity there. it wasn't predominantly black. Like black was definitely on the lower end, but there was definitely representation there. And so now I'm seeing something that I don't normally see, all different kinds of groups of people and different ages. Right.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so
Yep.
now I'm starting to appreciate like the diversity of expressions of people's lives. I'm like, oh, this looks amazing. So I'm having a great experience initially with church. So that's kind of my introduction.
Wow.
But since then, now, I had some experiences that were not so great since then. So
Yeah. And
which I'm sure everybody has.
Everyone has.
That's been in a church before.
Everyone has. and honestly, I'm really speaking from two different perspectives, just as a queer man and just as a man.
Yeah.
I feel like there are so many rules and so many, like, it was so strict that it didn't make you feel like you could do anything.
What can we do?
What can we do? And Lord behold, everybody in the church is still doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so
they're just hiding it though. They're just
hiding it. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm good. And
Yeah.
I got to be raised at the time that I got to understand that younger. And then when I went to college, I completely knocked it out, because what I also did was throw a little constraint on Sundays. It was like,
well,
you gotta
which
be up in the
eats
morning.
right? I was about to say which eats into Saturday
8
night,
o'clock,
right?
Yeah, right. It leads you to Saturday night.
Right.
I gotta get up early in the morning, getting in late times that you should never be getting in. You know what I'm saying? And then I gotta be
I'm gonna
up.
go get up.
Mom is over there pulling the blanket. Get up, boy. Come on, we're going to church. I'll never forget, my mom was waiting at my door. Like I opened the door, I wasn't even dressed, and she was just like, ready? And I'm like, what the hell? I'm just waking up. And so I'm like, I'm telling you, waking up.
I just got in a couple hours ago.
Right. So I will say that today's day of church that I do appreciate now, because I did end up, like, I found another way to enjoy church. And we can talk about this because it became the space that you just talked about, seeing more young people go, more people going to it with going to a pastor who doesn't come from that traditional way of thinking. And I just wonder, you have your, I don't know, there's this renaissance happening where pastors are doing like, I talked about this in the podcast the other day. They're doing like a Kirk Franklin thing, where how Kirk Franklin introduced, now he wasn't the first, but as far as mainstream,
Right, yeah.
how he introduced hip hop and gospel into the same circle,
Right.
and it clicked and it brought in
Yeah.
the younger crowd,
Yeah.
and everybody else that did not F
Right.
with church or God because of church,
Yeah.
and really changed that for a lot of us. We got to like really understand God through music.
Yes.
And he did that. And I feel like that's exactly what this new day and age of pastors are doing, like yourself, creating this space. There's another pastor, Pastor Albert Tate, love him. And there's a similarity there where I can sit in a space with him, whether if it is on my couch virtually or in person.
Yeah.
And the same thing with you, where I can go and not feel like someone is looking at me like, but you're gay. What are you doing here? Or even the thought of that, you know? And so I don't know what that is. Is that a part of training? When you like, how did you become a pastor? That's where we should start.
That's a long question. I want to
Go back to something else.
No, I want to address what the first part of your question
Okay.
was, which is what's going on, right?
Oh yeah, what's going on? Yes.
And so, one thing that's important to understand, I think, is the distinction between the message and the messenger. Right? So I believe that a lot of the message, the original message that Jesus was here to share with us,
Yes.
and live out, has been, let's say, over time, we've lost some of the essence of that, right? Sometimes we've gotten focused on elements of it that really were never meant to be focal points. And this actually, if you look in the stories about him, you see the same thing was happening when he was here too. Is there were people that were getting so caught up about these aspects of the law, and they were so harsh and so critical and so specific and strict and narrow in their views of these things that he had to actually break some of that up, right? So a classic example, if I can give you an example of this, was there was this day of rest. They called it the Sabbath day.
Yes, on Saturdays.
Yeah, some people debate that,
Okay,
you know,
yeah,
which
yeah,
day
okay,
that
okay,
is.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
we're not
okay.
going to get into
My,
that, but
my,
yeah.
my grandmother went to
Seventh day
Adventist.
Adventist. Yeah. So
So
they
she,
do it on Saturday.
okay, yeah. So that's where that
The
familiarity
seventh
comes in.
day the Lord rested. That's where it comes from.
Got it. Yes.
So back during his time, they would have all of these religious leaders who were enforcing this strict observance of the Sabbath. And it was like, here's what you can do and here's what you can't do. It was mostly the things you can't do, right? And so when he came, though, he started breaking some of their rules that they had made. So he would heal people on the Sabbath. And they'd be like, why are you healing people on this day? Do it on a different day, right? Instead of being excited that somebody who's been, never mind the fact they've been sick for the last 38 years and not excited the fact this guy is now healed, they're like, why did you do it on this day? Or he'd have people who couldn't walk. He would heal them. They would stand up and he'd say, okay, now take your mat that you've been sitting on for the last however many years and bring it home with you. And they're like, why are you carrying a mat? Right? So they're getting so focused on the wrong things. And they miss the essence of it. The Sabbath was not so that we could get all strict and curt with each other about what's okay, what's not okay. It was actually just to actually institute this moment during the week where you stop working and realize it's okay to take a breath.
Sorry, I felt like I just was in church.
That's all right. Yeah, this is the living room sermon right here, right? There you go.
Yes.
So I think that's what has happened all throughout history.
Yeah.
Is we end up focusing on all these things and we feel like we're doing it right. And the real line in the sand is when it causes us to forget the real essence of these things, right?
Yeah,
so the core of what Jesus was about was, he said, look, if you want to just sum up everything I'm telling you, you can sum it up in one thing: love one another.
Yes.
He said that's how you
That
sum
hit
it
me
up.
later. Yep.
All these laws, everything summed up just like this. So when we start coming at each other with anything other than that,
Yes.
we're missing the message, the original message. Now we've got messengers who think they're doing right. And I think a lot of times we start off with good intentions, and there's a lot of reasons why we get off track. But ultimately, that's what I think has happened in the past with the church.
Yeah.
It's created these spaces where people don't feel welcome, where they feel like there's this big party that God is throwing, and he's trying to exclude certain people.
Yeah.
But the truth is God has said everybody's invited.
Yeah. And
then we got some of his people coming out there and deciding who to give invitations to.
So that's what I was going to tie it into, because it's crazy that it's literally the people, it's the messengers. It's the messengers. It's the messengers who think that they're spreading messages when they're really mostly spreading gossip. And that is just, and that's where the toxic lies. And the gossip sometimes is so stealth that it grows bigger. You know, when a rumor starts in a church.
Oh yeah, you can't keep that quiet. Everybody knows.
And that's where the judgmentalness comes from.
Yeah.
All the things that come with that, it starts there. It happens so stealth. It's like sometimes like a mist that just comes in and it just slowly just cohabitates everybody.
Yeah.
And so I really do believe that. I really do believe that it takes going to the right references of those people, those messengers.
Yeah.
You have to fill them out. Like, if that's how I know how you are,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
But it's always down. It's great to be down to test things out, though, to really know.
Yeah.
Even if you just don't know for sure, testing it out works too. And so I appreciate that. I hope everyone understands that reference thing is really important. Somebody knows.
Get a
somebody.
referral. Get a referral. Yeah,
Get
get
a
a referral before you just hop up somewhere.
Right. So I know.
You end up with a bad cut.
I want to.
That's a dad joke right there.
That was, and I laughed because I just wanted to make sure you know that I heard you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, I want to just tie in two things before we get into a game, and the thing is, I don't know if you can wrap up. If anything, a part of this helped you become a man.
Yeah, absolutely.
What would be those main that main thing that did that?
Yeah, and when you say anything like in terms of my faith journey or
Uh-huh.
becoming a pastor, any of that
I
stuff.
think if you can tie that into it too, that would be
Yeah,
great because I think that's a part of the journey of
yeah,
becoming what you known to people that a man is.
yeah.
So yeah, tie that in.
Yeah, so honestly, because I got exposed to this at a young age, right, 20 years old, that's a
Mm-hmm.
pretty formative
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
I did grow up in a situation where, for my early years, my dad was kind of in and out. By the time I got to high school, he was a little bit more present. Um, However, I didn't have like this really great, in my face example of what it meant to be a man, right? And so I'm figuring it out, right? I'm not having these conversations about all these girlfriends I'm with, right? I'm not talking to any older men about this stuff. I'm talking to my friends, my peers, right? I'm looking at media and television to show me what it looks like to actually grow up and mature and become a man. So before I came to faith, this was all just kind of hodgepodge pieced together, honestly. That's what my journey of becoming a man was like. Then now I come into the faith, and now I've got the best example ever of what it looks like to be a man.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so, what's so beautiful to me about the example of Jesus is that he also cuts through some of the stereotypes of what it means to be a man, right? So, I think that's maybe another misconception about even the Bible is it almost can be seen as this thing that perpetuates like this abusive masculinity or
Yes.
very strong stereotypes of what it means to be a man or a woman.
Well,
And
yeah, that's what people used him as the example for. I mean, I say people, I say my family
yeah,
or anybody in the black community would utilize religion and
right,
utilize God as that example and
right,
like, the fear of God. And
right,
that's
right.
what men are sort of are to their families. It's like when a kid gets in trouble sometimes in the family, mom was like, I'm gonna talk to your dad.
Yeah. Yeah, and then that put a fear in you,
Right.
right? Yeah,
So
yeah,
you're on to
yeah,
something here. Go ahead.
yeah. So I think what you see though is you see a lot more nuance in terms of masculinity throughout the Bible. You've got characters like David who sing psalms and dance in public, which wasn't something that men did.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, he danced so much his clothes fell off him, right, in front of a crowd of people. His wife was embarrassed at what he did, right, but he was like, I'm dancing for the Lord. I'm not ashamed. And so you get that example, and then yeah, you've got other examples of like hunters and gatherers and shepherds and those kinds of characters. But I think again, it goes back down to the essence, right? The essence of what it means to be a man, and what I'm learning still, right? Because I'm a father, I play that role. Also play the role of a husband, and these are things that are not like, man, if there was a handbook on exactly how to do it, it'd be great. But they're not things that you just have. Here's a step-by-step way to do these things.
Yeah.
So I'm learning as I go. And one of the things I'm learning about masculinity is there is a role that I play, right? And I do have a role in our family. And it's interesting. One of my daughters, she actually wrote this whole thing out, and she says on the fridge we have it posted up, and she said all the things she loves about everyone in our family. For me, she said, I love Daddy because he's a protector. And now I never told her that. I never said, hey, I'm your protector, right? But I do think that's something that I have to be cognizant of, right? And I understand that my wife as well, like there's moments where if she hears something outside, she's like, hey, can you go check on that, you know? And so there is a sense of, man, this is the role that I play here. And I've got to embrace that, even though I didn't see that in the home when I was growing up.
Right.
And so now I'm learning how to do those things. And so how do I learn how to do something that I've never seen or witnessed personally? Well, I've got other mentors that I look to, and there's people that I do talk to, and I can share with them, hey, I'm scared about this, and what do I do? I'm feeling these kinds of things. So now I'm learning how to have honest conversations to get to a place where I can grow in that. But ultimately, the faith journey has shaped me, has grounded me, has given me confidence in even being able to step into some of these roles and positions, whether now it's like a lead pastor of a church. I never would have been able to do anything like this outside of faith. For me, I didn't want this. I wasn't somebody who was like you, wanted the spotlight from the jump. I already know.
That man character energy, okay?
I got one in our family. One of the kids was just like that, right?
Eden. What's up,
That's
Eden?
right.
Mm-hmm.
Same birthday.
Same
Yeah,
birthday,
birthday
11/11.
twins. Yeah.
11/11.
But
And you're an 11.
9/11.
No, you're 9/11.
9/11, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both 11. Oh,
So
both 11 kids, yeah.
So I didn't have that aspiration, right? So what I'm doing as I follow, and that's probably the best thing I could share about this journey is that having a relationship with God for me has been such a relief of the pressure to try to have to figure everything out and
Yep.
have it figured out,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yep.
that's the thing. You have all these people in your life that look to you like you're supposed to know what to do. My faith journey has actually helped me to say there are moments where I don't know what to do, and I might be scared about what's next, but I know who to go to now, and I have a faith that He knows what to do. So really, what I'm doing now is I'm just following somebody else.
Man.
And it's a lot easier. We know this. It's a lot easier to follow instructions than it is to be the leader.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
To tell me where to go, tell me what to
Yep.
do. I would love to do
I
that,
love to
right?
do that. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Because all the pressure falls on you as a leader. But when you feel like now, which is how I feel, I've got somebody who's leading every step of this journey for me. Even though I look like I'm the leader here, there's somebody else I'm following.
Exactly. And I totally relate with you on every level that you just spoke on. I think that there might be a misunderstanding or a myth out there that being gay changes the way you are as being a man. There we come in many different colors. So it's like you have your soft man, you have your hardcore man, you have men who are a little bit more soft, meaning like more feminine, more in
Right.
touch with their feminine side, and then there's some in between and that and stuff like that. And so, but as a man, that stuff still absolutely comes to play. Feeling like I'm the protector to my sisters and to my
Right.
mom.
Right.
Like my father, my father's not relationship is like he was there. I just feel like he wasn't as present as my mom because my mom was just. I remember my mom so much more, and it just came down to the way that they structured their household. My dad was just at work or just out. My mom was the main one taking care of the kids and stuff like that. And so that tradition is something that I have instilled in me somehow. But I think that when I get to the point where I start having family, I'm open to being versatile, where I can do both things. Just the same way I feel like hetero relationships do the same thing. As a man, like you can be in the kitchen cooking and cleaning too, just
Right.
as much as a woman. And
Right.
so with me, I feel the same way with whoever partner I get with, and have that. And so we never got to touch on how you feel about queerness and the same thing, but we have already had a discussion about being okay with what you believe in, being okay with what I believe in, and stuff like that. So, in a quick nutshell,
Oh, come on, man.
how
Quick.
is that? I
You want to go to the hottest part of the topic and you want it to be quick. Okay.
be as quick as can be. Busy bee. But nah, go ahead, just go and see what you feel. It is a very
What's the
important.
question? What's the
The
question?
question is, how do you how can I say it? I guess what's your experience speaking on queerness
Yeah.
and same sex relationships and love, and knowing that maybe people in your denomination, or excuse me, in your population, in your
Church,
crowd, in your
yeah.
church,
Yeah.
have those
Yeah.
or follow those practices. So
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
does that how do you navigate that?
Yeah. So, see, man, you're gonna ask me to be quick on this one. So I think basically I go back to the essence of the faith that I believe in, right? Which is number one, my job is to love people, right? So, and I also understand that everybody's on a journey, and everybody's at a different point in their journey, and so I don't. Here's one of the things we talk about in our church is one of our values is empathy, right? Being empathetic, and so what that means is we meet people where they are, and not ask them to be where we are, but we meet them where they are, right? And so we see that modeled by Jesus. He meets people where they actually are. So in terms of people who may be in same-sex relationships, like in our church, in our community, I mean, one of our goals is to create space where people who are either in same-sex relationships, maybe identify in a particular way sexually or gender, they would feel like there's a space for them to come into our church and actually experience God. Because at the end of the day, if I tell you that, well, you can't bring that over here, right? Like, what am I saying? I'm saying that what I see, I don't like, and so it makes me uncomfortable. So you better take that somewhere else. is that really what God is saying?
Uh,
Right?
yeah.
Like,
No.
so God is not as bothered by the things that we're bothered by.
Mm-hmm.
Now that being said, so I think it's like the expression of creating space for people to even come in who might have questions, right? Like,
Yeah.
hey, this is what I learned growing up, but this is my lived experience, and now I'm trying to figure out how to reconcile the two. I want us to be able to create space for that reconciliation process to happen.
Yeah. Okay.
And so if I shut it down at the door, that can't happen.
Yeah.
Now you got to go figure it out on your own. You got to go talk to your friends, your peers, look at the media, whatever. But now you don't even get the privilege of having some real in-depth conversation that might help clarify some things for you, right?
Mm.
Now, the ultimate like end goal for everybody from my perspective is not for everyone to be heterosexual, right? Because here's the key is that at the end of the day, I think about it like this, right? If you look at heaven and we hear about stuff like the pearly gates, they're not checking sexual orientation at the gate.
Pause. Yeah, Chris. Chris is coming in. Don't lose that thought. Do not lose that thought. Come on. Hey, Chris. um, that's a. This is so good. By
Okay.
the way.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we have my roommate come through, y'all. So we just, people come through in all the time. Okay.
There we go.
You gotta
Come through the
keep-
living room. It's the living room. We have people come in the living room.
Yep.
So, so they're also not checking credit scores at the gate.
Okay.
They're also not checking marital
Yes.
status, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
really,
Yes.
what this is about is, do you have a relationship with Jesus? Like, that's really all this comes down to.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And I'll take it one step further. Here's how I like to think about it as well. The real question is, do you want to be here? Do you want to be here, meaning where God is, right? And
Do you want to
everything.
be here?
Do you want to be here?
I feel that.
And that means God is certain things, and He's
Yeah.
not everything, right? Like there's certain things that just are not a part of who He is.
Mm-hmm.
When we talked about the whole situation with how harsh and strict people were
Strict
being,
people
right?
be,
Like that's
yes.
not who He is. There's
Yeah.
other things that He's like, I'm not into discrimination. I'm not into treating people unfairly. I'm looking at people's hearts, and so I think the real question is, do you want to be here, and all that entails. And that means all the things that He describes about who He is and Himself. And so I think that's the essence of it, right? And so my job is to point people towards that and to give them an opportunity to experience that. And now I will say this, that I think that as with everything that I've learned about God, there are boundaries, right? To everything that He's given us to enjoy. If you ever have something to enjoy, there's got to be some level of boundaries around it. Otherwise, it's anarchy, it's chaos. And so boundaries are actually things that can protect us. They can help us to enjoy things, right? So for me, in my marriage, we have boundaries, right? Like our marriage is between me and my wife. That's
Okay.
it, right? Like no other people. We're not engaging in any sexual activity with anyone else, and that's part of the boundaries that we've agreed to. So for us, that's modeled off of what we see in Scripture. So, so we see that, and from my perspective as well, I think what I see from a marriage perspective, God has outlined that this is supposed to be from His view between a man and a woman, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And so that now I could take that and I could use that as a weapon, right? And I could try to hit people over the head with that or judge people at the door with that. But instead, what I do is I trust God to work in people's hearts. And I try not to introduce them to that doctrine. I try to introduce them to the person of Jesus. That's
Right.
my goal.
That's your goal. Not okay. Yes.
And now where that leads you and how that transforms you, I'm going to allow Him to do that work just like He's done work in me. And there's things that started to shift when I connected with Him, and I trust that that's going to happen for whoever.
Yeah.
So that's why I say that there's a kind of a twofold approach. It's like, here's what I believe God says about these things. However, here's what He's told me in terms of how I'm supposed to love people and treat them.
Yep. That's a beautiful way to put that, Ben. Thank you. That's really beautiful. Thank you so much for just putting that out there into the world, because the more that we get that sense of respect, you know what I'm saying? I think that is how we can learn how to grow in the ways that we want to grow without putting us against each other because of what we believe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We've done better things and much greater things together than apart. But, you know, honestly, it's a beautiful thing to have. And so if we can sit on the couch and still have our separate views, but same respect for one another, you know, that is the true work that God is already doing right now, is just building that community. And that's what I want this show to do. And I want to quickly shout out to Preference, my web series, because we never got to touch on church and religion in the series at last season. So this season we're diving deeper. We're going to have a really good scenario where we get to blend that conversation of queerness and religion and church and make that understanding as clear there too. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, man. So I just appreciate you for just for just sharing your wealth. We're going to tap into a really quick game.
Okay.
It's called Play Pause.
Okay.
All
right.
Pause.
I'm excited.
And there is a chest full of different scenarios that's going to ask you, we're going to both pick one each, and say the question that's on the card.
Okay.
And then we either have to pick up your paddle and say, oh, okay, it's cool, that's a play, or pause, that's yes. Okay. And I'm sure heard of the whole pause thing that dudes been doing. I'm telling you, I took this from a game that I saw them doing. I walked in on a game one time, they was playing pause. I was like, can I play? And everybody laughed. All right. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. So the last laugh is on y'all. Okay.
Okay. All right.
So go ahead and pick one up real quick.
All right.
Now be prepared now.
You gonna go first?
You can go first. You're the guest. You can go first.
Okay.
Hope you can read my handwriting.
All right. Oh, okay. Debating Drake versus Kendrick at brunch.
Well, okay, I will do that. I will debate them. That'll be a fun topic. People need to talk at brunch about things and not each other. Yeah.
So generally speaking, I do enjoy debates as long as the person I'm talking to won't take it personal, right? So,
oh my god!
So that's included.
And then mimosas are involved, and people
depends on who I'm with.
Because
some people can't have a conversation with a difference of opinion.
Yeah,
and so
that's good. Yeah, I agree with that. I'll play with that too, but then I'll pause if it depends on who's
right. So I get another one here.
Posting a crying selfie after a tough day. A crying selfie after a tough day. Man, I've made some... I've posted things of me crying, I guess. I mean, I wouldn't do it after a tough day. I mean...
Right.
Nah. Is that too vulnerable for a man to show himself like that or what? I don't know.
I don't think it's too vulnerable, but I probably wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't do it yourself. Okay, what about seeing other men do it?
I wouldn't. No, see, I'm not gonna hate on. I'm not gonna hate on it.
Yeah. I'll play on that if it's seeing other people do it. But if it's for me,
yeah,
I'm gonna have to pause that. But you will play it. No, you will pause it too. Okay.
I'm just being honest. That's probably not what's gonna come out of my emojis. And this is like not the laughing, crying one, because I would do that one a hard day.
Oh, okay.
Laughing, crying, laughing to keep from crying.
Right.
All right, let's see. Listening to gospel when you're mad at God. No.
Listening to gospel
I'm not doing
mad
that.
at God. Well, see, I don't get mad at God.
Oh, I do.
I don't get mad at God. I get mad at the situation.
Sometimes I get mad at him. But
that's some true shit to say for a pastor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like getting mad at your boss.
Exactly. You know? Look, if it's any real relationship, at some point, if you haven't gotten mad at that person, it's not real. It's very surfacey. It doesn't get real until you get upset with that person.
That's true.
At least once.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm not playing gospel. I'm telling you that. I'm playing something else, but it ain't gospel.
I don't know if I'll play. Yeah. I won't play gospel during that though.
You going to Kirk Franklin? You bringing that up?
Stop. Who you think about? God, stop it. Starting a men's group where emotions are the main event. Play.
Oh yeah.
What? We gotta talk more.
Yeah.
We gotta do this more. Yeah.
So can I share a quick thing on that?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we did a men's retreat last year for our church, and the main scripture we talked about was this one out of Genesis. Adam and Eve in the garden, they take the forbidden fruit and they run away and hide, right? And then God asked them this question. He says, "Where are you?" So we took the whole weekend and we just unpacked that one question.
Where are you? That's
Right.
great.
He wasn't asking physically.
Yeah,
He knew.
yeah.
He knew where they were physically. I see
Yep.
you hiding behind that bush. Where are you?
Yeah.
Emotionally, spiritually. What's going on?
Okay.
So anyway, I play that.
That's okay. Yeah, you did. Okay. You'll take the last one when we done.
Okay, you're at church and someone fully catches the spirit right next to you. That's cool with me, man. I'm all right. I'm all right with that.
Where are we?
I'm okay.
Are we at the bank?
I said you're at church.
Oh, it says you're at church.
This is in church.
Okay. Yeah, it's the perfect place.
There you go. There you go.
If it was anywhere else, put in the public.
Anywhere else, you ain't cool with it?
If we in the bank, if we like it, just
And they catch the spirit, man.
maybe I just got a good direct deposit. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Okay, all
The
right.
spirit come on you, man.
What about the library? I'm just
You gonna limit God, man? You gonna put a limitation on him? Okay.
No.
All right, so we done?
Yeah, we're done with these.
Okay,
Thank you so much, man,
Okay.
for just like showing up for this.
Yeah.
It's extremely special. You know, we had a chance to talk about a list load of things from masculinity to queerness to faith to religion, church, being a man is, and just at the end of the day, just coming down to what's the essence? Where's the essence in all this? You know, and that is the piece that I'm walking away with today. I don't know about anybody else that was watching this, but just make sure that we're going down to the core of like what the essence is, and that is a beautiful start. That's gonna lead you to where you need to go. So,
Absolutely.
we are concluding tonight, Ben.
Oh man, it was fun.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
It was so much fun. We're gonna have more of these conversations because they need to be had. And so I hope this does touch on someone else that this, you know, call that person that they never said they loved them and say I love you, and let that start living and through our community. So this is Stefano Shea under one roof. We'll see you at the next episode. Bye.